Welcome to Suffolk Business Today for your bridal, prom, or special occasion event made possible by the House of Maya. And joining me at Maya Couture on Main, here in the heart of historic downtown Suffolk, Virginia, is owner and president of House of Maya Salons, Maya Holland.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Maya.
It's so nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you as well, and thank you for giving us this opportunity
Absolutely.
to learn about the wonderful experiences that you provide to the many brides and others. So
It's my pleasure.
we want to talk all day long about this opportunity. So let's have a seat and let's talk
Sure.
more about the
All
House
right,
of
I
Maya.
love that idea.
All right. Well, Maya, we're here at Maya Couture on Main in Suffolk, of course. And as I understand it, this was your second location. So let's, before we get too far into our Suffolk location, let's talk a little bit more about the larger picture, the House of Maya.
Okay.
How did
How did
you
it start?
How did you start? Indeed.
So, well, my career started at Vera Wang in New York City. That's how I got into the bridal industry. And it was an amazing experience. And I knew that day I wanted to be in this industry for the rest of my life. So I bought an existing business, Tiffany's Bridal, which had been in the market for 35 years, I believe,
Okay.
before I took it over. And that's located on Military Highway in Norfolk. I bought the store in October of 2004 and just really made it my own over about a decade. And
Wow.
then 10 years later, I opened Maya Couture in Maine in Suffolk.
And we're so glad you did. Now, what caused you to make that jump? I mean, all the way from Norfolk, you skipped a couple of
Yes,
cities,
I did.
and we're happy you did, but what really drew you to downtown Suffolk?
So it was actually one of my managers who came to me and said, would you consider opening a boutique in Suffolk? And I immediately was like, that seems really far away. And she was like, I want to take you around and let's just take a look at some locations. I knew I wanted to expand, but I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to do it. I'm from a very old town on Cape Cod. I grew up in old homes.
Okay.
So once we entered the historic district here, the charm overtook me. We're going through this redevelopment. I was so impressed by that. And I really wanted to be part of it. So when we came into this area, I was sold. It was just finding the right storefront.
Now, as a guy, I, of course, have no idea what makes one salon different from the other, or one boutique, as I understand it, different from the other. So you started with the Norfolk location, Maya Couture, or
Yes.
I presume. Second here was Suffolk. Tell us about your other locations.
Sure. So in 2015, the company went through a very large expansion. I purchased 2 stores in Virginia Beach, and then I purchased a store in Ghent, also located in Norfolk. Those transactions took place because I was friends with the previous owners, and it's just ironic that they both had things going on in their lives where they had to move and get out of the business. And they came to me and asked if I would take over their businesses for them. So I was overjoyed by the opportunity. And they were so different from what Maya Couture offers and Maya Couture in Maine offers. I really felt like by doing this, we could cater to every bride in Hampton Roads.
And I think that's a good segue to help our viewers understand some of the fine differences between the different locations.
Sure.
Why don't we start here, for example?
Yes.
What makes Maya Couture on Main unique?
So it is probably one of my most intimate boutiques. It's very hands-on. It's a really personal experience with our clients. We have a line of bridal gowns here that are exclusive to us in this market. And I like to offer that at all of my stores. I really like to have, the designers are not duplicated. So
Okay.
we do varying price points, varying styles, and there's really something for everybody. And then with the expansion, I was really able to not just cater to the bride, but to the entire bridal party. We do tuxedos, we do mother's dresses, we do bridesmaids dresses, and this year we got into prom too. So
that
it's
is
the
wonderful.
one store that offers everything.
Oh, that's great. So take us then from this part of the region in Suffolk to, let's say, one of your Virginia Beach stores.
Sure.
What makes that location
So
different?
unique. So I have 2 boutiques in Virginia Beach. One of them is called Pure English,
Okay.
and the previous owner was from England, so that's
Okay.
where the name came from. It's a beautifully English-inspired, high-end store. So that I carry my highest price points there, and it's again, it's very quaint and intimate. We're getting the best of the best in terms of fabric and style. It's really for that discerning bride that maybe might not have a budget, which is nice.
You mean the bride's parents?
Yes, the bride's
that don't have
parents
a budget?
don't have a budget.
Of course.
And it's, I mean, when you walk inside, you feel like you're walking into somebody's living room. It's
Oh,
just
that's
very
wonderful.
welcoming. And then our second location is called Silk Social Occasion Studio. It's only 1,500 square feet. It's about a mile down the road from Pure English.
Okay.
And we do everything from social occasion, bridesmaids, mother's dresses, tuxedos. But that's the one store that really caters to the bridal party. I mean,
see.
it is for everybody else other than the bride and the groom. So,
Got it.
and it's a great, fun experience. The girls can bring their big bridal party and they have the store to themselves. So it's we love it.
Okay. So that's your 2 stores in Virginia Beach.
Yes.
And then you have another location you mentioned in Ghent.
Yes, in Ghent.
Tell us about the
Sure.
Ghent location.
So the Ghent location is really sort of an urban chic, open space,
Okay.
more of a trendy store. And it's actually the boutique that we do our upscale consignment and my sample dresses out of that location. It is extremely fashion savvy, but without the high price tag.
Wonderful.
So we're really happy. It's a place for our brides to recycle their wedding gowns if they want to make a little money back on it. And then we work directly with designers who send us some of their samples that they're no longer going to, put on the market. And it's where I send my samples that are discontinued. So we love helping that bride who either needs a gown quickly because there's no ordering involved, it is cash and carry, or the bride that has a really, a champagne taste, maybe on a beer budget.
Sure.
And it's still the same wonderful, caring experience, even though they're taking their gown and walking out the door with it.
So I can imagine your clients come from across the Hampton Roads region,
Yes.
just depending on their tastes
Absolutely.
or having an opportunity to see something different.
That's exactly
So
right.
I do understand that in addition to your salons and boutiques, if you will, that you actually provide even a broader service for brides. Can you tell us about this bridal
Yes.
service?
So I also own what is called the Bridal Dish by House of Maya, and we are a concierge planning service. So basically what we do is we connect our clients with wedding professionals who can help them plan their special day. One of my philosophies is that we do more than sell wedding gowns, that we really help the client from the second they walk in until they walk down the aisle. And so being able to provide those resources for the client is really, it's great for us and it's great for them. We try to make things as easy and convenient and
Sure.
enjoyable for our clients. And so having the Bridal Dish really allows us to do that. We're typically the first or second store for a couple planning.
Okay.
And so first or second visit, sometimes it's the venue, sometimes it's us.
Right.
So they're so early on in their planning process that they don't know who to use for a photographer. They
I
don't
gotcha.
know who to use for a cake person. So we can sell them all of their merchandise and then help them with their cake and DJ and venue and whatever else they need help with.
It just can't get much better than
No,
that, can it?
it can't. We are one-stop shopping.
Well, that is great. Well, with all of these locations, tell me a little bit about your staff. I mean,
Sure.
how many employees do you have in, let's say, the House of Maya, for starters?
So we have 35 employees.
Okay.
And I have employees that are on the sales team. I have some district managers. We do offer in-house alterations. So I have 3 seamstresses on staff. And as much as we can keep in-house to help the client, we want to
Sure.
do that. I have support staff. I have some administrative people. But the company structure I think is really what allows us to give the best service to our clients.
Okay.
There's many layers where the client can be involved with a salesperson. I get involved. I love working with brides. So I'm not there all the time. I pop around to different stores. I've been to 3 today. So, but we really want the client to experience as many of us as she possibly or he possibly can. It's a team effort to keep these doors open and the business flowing, but most importantly to care for the client.
That's wonderful. Well, with all of that going on, I can imagine that you have a process for the brides that come in to show them what opportunities exist.
That's right.
Why don't we take an opportunity for you to kind of walk our audience, if you will, through the process by showing some gowns here and some of the different attributes of the gowns that maybe would be important to brides.
Yeah.
And we'll take a look.
Okay.
All right.
So one of the things that is really important to me is that we create a relationship with our clients before they even walk through our doors. And one of the ways that we're able to do that is we have an online scheduling system. And when a client goes into any of our stores online, they can book an appointment right there and then provide personal information for us about their wedding, some of the details that they're looking for. So we have a general scope of who that person is before they come in. Our consultants will reach out to them before their appointment and start the dialogue already. We love Pinterest. We love when you send us photos. We really want to be prepared for our clients when they come in. We've gotten a lot of great feedback from brides in the past that they were so impressed that when they walked in, we already had gowns pulled for them and that we were like on the money. So we want to make it as enjoyable for them and as stress-free. It can be stressful. This is one of my smaller stores, but when you walk into Maya Couture or Privé, they're big and you're like, oh my goodness, where do I begin? So this is where the experts come in. This is where we come in. And then, we sit down with them when they come in, them and their group. I encourage everybody to look for a dress for the bride to try on. Because oftentimes it's the wild card that she ends up buying. It's not the one that she brought the photo in of. So it's a really fun journey to go on with our clients. And I feel very proud when we're the ones who picked the gown for her. So.
Well, do you get many dads that join the wedding party in that selection process?
We sure do. We sure do.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to be one of those dads.
Yes, you are.
And why don't you give me an idea of how you educate men as well as your party on the gown opportunities. And we'll take a look at some of what you have here
Yes,
at
definitely.
Maya Couture on Main.
That's great.
And I did have an experience where I was able to go to all the different House of Maya stores, and they all had much wider variety than I had experienced in other locations. And I did end up back here where I had started my Maya journey in Suffolk at Maya Couture on Main. When your bridal experience starts, the first dress shop that you see is the one that you go to, because you just need to start somewhere and you need to begin your journey. And it's not always a very collective, organized plan, but it gets you in the door somewhere. And so I started looking at other locations and just been to a handful and didn't find what I was looking for, and that's difficult as a bride because you're looking for that special experience. And then I had a contact here and spoke with her and made an appointment, and honestly when I came to go to my appointment I was a little bit worried and concerned that I wasn't going, it was just another one to check off the list. But when I went to the House of Maya stores, I was totally blown away by the amount of products that they had, and all of the dresses, and the quality of the dresses, and the variety of the dresses. And this is where I should have started all along. And I didn't realize that I'm familiar with the area, and I did not realize that this this gem was here all along, and that I could have been a little less stressed had I started my journey at this location in the beginning. But I was really happy to find it, and then once I was here for my dress, I realized that this was where I wanted my bridesmaids to have their experience. I had bridesmaids from out of town. I had bridesmaids with very, very busy schedules. I had a bridesmaid on Skype, so they were very flexible and coordinated everything with me. The most stressful part of the whole experience was getting to the appointment. And then once we got here, everybody had a really, really, really great time. There was a dress for everyone. Everyone was very, very comfortable. Everybody was relaxed. I mean, they had fun at their dress fittings. When I came for my fittings, I had a lot of fun. Like Dora had mentioned that I came to try on 2 dresses, and I didn't realize what they were going to have here, and they just kept pulling dress after dress after dress, and totally ended up with not where I began in the beginning. I didn't know what I didn't know, and Maya Couture definitely had all of the dresses available that were going to help me figure that out. Because what you think you want sometimes isn't what you want. And what you think you know isn't sometimes what you know. And they had the resources for me to be able to figure that out. One of the most kind of stress relievers that during the experience was being able to have everything done in-house. So being able to get my dress needs taken care of here. And then have all of that incorporated with my bridesmaids' dress needs and the tuxedo needs, and everything was done in-house, and it felt very, very organized, and there was a comfort in having everything being able to be taken care of with somebody who knew the whole picture other than just you, because sometimes you do feel like you're the only one with the picture. And my bridal consultant was that other person for me, and she was able to manage all of that and have that picture in her head, so I didn't have to worry about it anymore, because she'd seen all of my bridesmaids, even my bridesmaids on Skype, and she saw the bigger picture for me too, and it's really comforting knowing that somebody else was handling all of it as well. And I did have an experience where I was able to go to all the different House of Maya stores, and they all had much wider variety than I had experienced in other locations, and I did end up back here where I had started my Maya journey in Suffolk at Maya Couture on Main.
Well, you said that this is your smaller store,
Yes.
but even in the larger store, many of your bridal parties, their eyes get wide open. Well, even in your smaller store, mine are wide open, particularly as the dad that might end up making that purchase. So, well, how do you get us started in
Sure.
your process?
So once we've had an opportunity to welcome them into the store and sit down with them, meet all of their guests, find out who the important people are in their life, and get a general sense of, reconfirming the things that she's looking for, we will bring them into the showroom.
Okay.
And typically what we do is we sort of just educate them on how the gowns are set up. And then I like it for everybody to pull.
Okay.
Gown. So I want the mom to pull a gown. I want her best friend to pull a gown. We're going to pull what we think is best for her
Sure.
based on our conversations. But it should really be engaging for
Okay.
everyone.
Okay.
And so we will go through. I love having the gowns out. Some bridal salons, they're in bags, and you're not
Okay.
allowed to touch them or feel them. But I really want the client to have an experience with the gown.
Sure.
So our Suffolk brides love lace. So we have a lot of lace in this store, but there's so many varying laces. There's very classic and traditional, and now we have these modern laces as well. So I think there's a great evolution that's going on with lace.
I noticed a small difference in the actual, I guess, shade of white.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? What am
Sure.
I seeing here?
So we actually have very little white in this store. Everything we have is either ivory,
Okay.
or it goes into shades of champagne.
Oh, yeah.
Blush is a really big
Gotcha.
color right now. Oyster, which is kind of like a silver.
Okay.
So, the bridal industry has really evolved, particularly over the last 20 years, in terms of what is acceptable.
Gotcha.
Really, a bride dictates what is acceptable.
Okay.
So we have brides now that love color. I would say our Suffolk bride really leans toward blush and champagne.
Okay.
Many of them are getting married on a farm or in their parents' backyard.
Okay.
The weddings tend to be a little bit more casual, so they like to go with some of the softer color palettes. Like this ivory is really beautiful.
Sure.
So the traditional white is kind of we're not seeing it as much. So, but most people think they're white until I tell them they're not. So I said, you're going to be the only one that knows it's ivory. If your grandmother wants you to be in white, to her, that's white.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, but you know, what we do, it's really, it's informational, it's educational. You spoke to the father of the bride.
Right.
I really like, you know, myself and my team to sit down with Dad and just talk to him about the delivery time, for why things have to be ordered so far in advance.
Sure.
Why is the price what the price is? What is included when you make that purchase? Because if he's there at the appointment, he's most likely paying for that gown. So we
I'm
want
sure
to
of it.
include Dad as much as we possibly can. So.
Okay. So now we talked about the fact that here in Suffolk, we're fortunate enough not only to have all of the bridal gowns,
Yes.
but you also provide tuxedos and something that no one else provides. You provide dresses for proms and that type of thing.
Prom, mom, bridesmaids, tuxedos. Yeah, we have it for everybody.
Now that was part of your most recent expansion
Yes,
here.
yes.
So why don't we take a few moments to take a look at what's offered for the bridesmaids and for proms and that type of thing. And
Let's do it. It's a
see
much
what's out
more
there.
colorful side.
Absolutely.
than
It'll be clear
But
to me
just
then.
as fun.
Already. So these are your prom gowns and bridesmaid gowns, all.
Mothers, yes.
And
all in
are
one.
they interchangeable? You can wear one to the other. That's appropriate.
Pretty much. I mean, prom, as you can see, if you look at this side of the store, is very glitzy and glamorous.
Okay.
However, I've had bridesmaids wear prom dresses.
Okay.
So it just depends on what type of wedding you want to have. Brides that do a lot of bling, very high fashion, oftentimes will gravitate to these for their girls.
Okay.
And it's fun for us because it's not your traditional bridesmaid's dress.
Okay.
But I've had mothers choose from our prom collection. I've had mothers choose from our bridesmaids collection. And then, of course, we have our social occasion wear.
So typically, though, these are your prom dresses.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is typically prom. 2016 was actually our first year doing prom because we had the expansion, so I was able
Right.
to actually create a side for the prom goer. It was a great season for us, and you know, part of the reason why I love doing prom is that they're future brides. So my hope is that they'll start with us in prom and then come back to us when they're ready to get married.
Maybe marry that high school sweetheart
Maybe
that they went
marry
to
the
prom
high school
with.
sweetheart.
There you
the
are.
sweetheart. That's right.
So I understand that Suffolk here at Maya Couture on Main has the good fortune of being the only location in Hampton Roads
Yes.
that you provide
Exactly.
prom dresses for. So
Yes.
folks from across the region need to find you
That's
quickly.
Right. That's right.
Indeed.
I love the fact that we draw people into Suffolk who probably would not come to Suffolk.
Absolutely.
You know, we're a destination business, and so the client is going to drive where he or she wants to get the product. And you know, I think we have a strong enough, long enough reputation that our clients have no problem driving to Suffolk, and we love to see them.
Well, we love for them to come as well. So we have prom dresses here,
Yes.
and obviously they're longer.
Yes.
What do we have here in the center?
So in the center we have, these are mainly bridesmaids and mothers' dresses, and these are our short dress collections. So, you know, there's so many different types of weddings today,
True.
and you go from very casual to very formal, and we really can accommodate whatever style the client is going for. The shorter dresses are typically for daytime weddings or on
Okay.
the beach weddings, just something a little bit more casual.
Got it. And you have virtually every color under the
Yes.
rainbow. I see.
Well, the great part about the bridesmaids' dresses is this dress right here comes in about 32 colors.
I'll be darned.
So where prom is a little bit more off the rack,
Sure.
our bridesmaids, similar to our bridal, have to be ordered in advance.
Okay.
So we recommend at least 5 months in advance to purchase your bridesmaid's dress because they take about 3 to 4 months to come in.
Sure.
But what's so wonderful, it's the same experience for the bridal party
Right.
as it is for our brides. So we're going to educate them. We're going to gain inspiration from what the bride and her party are looking for. And, you know, we guide them every step of the way. One of the trends in bridesmaids right now is putting every bridesmaid in a different dress. So
Okay.
it's a win-win for the bride and the bridesmaids when you do that. So we really can help the clients figure out what is the best style for their body type.
Certainly.
You know, if they want to stay within a particular price point, we are the ones that can really educate them and guide them. And then we work with the party from the day they come in until they're ready to do their alterations.
Well, it's perfect. So we have bridesmaids, and these gowns here are typically for just bridesmaids, right?
So these are typically bridesmaids dresses.
Okay.
Now we do sell off the rack if we have to, although most of what we do is special order. So I've actually sold these gowns for Navy balls,
Oh, wow.
black tie affairs,
Certainly.
and a lot of our moms will look to these dresses as well because they're really sophisticated and they don't look like the typical bridesmaid dress.
Absolutely. Well, they are lovely.
Thank you.
Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed this opportunity to learn
Thank
a
you.
little bit more about the House of Maya, in particular Maya Couture on Main. And what's your address here, by the way, so our viewers know
Yes,
exactly
so
where to
we
come?
are 147 and 149 North Main Street.
Wonderful. Well, Maya, this has been an absolutely wonderful tour, and we thank you for giving us an opportunity to see all of what the House of Maya has to offer.
It was my absolute pleasure, and thank you. It was an honor, truly.
Well, this concludes this edition of Suffolk Business Today. I'm your host, Gregory Bird, wishing you joy and happiness on all celebrated days of your life. May you forever love local and buy Suffolk.